Hey, good morning everybody. Tim Walsh coming to you live from the campus of the Illinois Fire Service Institute here at the University of Illinois, where today we'll be delivering RIT Under Fire First Due Company Considerations. So we want to let you get signed in. Check out the comments section. We've already posted some handouts for today's lesson. Let us know where you're watching from. And as always, I'll be answering your questions along with the instructors here from the comment section. So feel free to chime in. So we'll give you a couple minutes to get signed in. I'll be right back with you. Thanks for joining us. Hey, good morning everybody. Tim Walsh coming to you live from the campus of the Illinois Fire Service Institute, where we're working from the single family fire prop today, and we'll be delivering RIT Under Fire Considerations for a First Due Company. What I'd like you to do now is go to the comments section, share this video live for us so we can get some participants on board to techniques and skills that you can use on the fire ground later today to make rescues of downed firefighters. Also, we've tagged some information in the comments section for you to take a look at as it applies to Project Mayday and Maydays that have gone up since COVID-19 responses and manning has become an issue over the last few months. So take a look at that, and I'll be talking about it a little bit more in today's delivery. Right now we're going to get introduced to the instructors that are teaching today, all participants that I teach with on a regular basis. The RIT Under Fire program here, probably one of the best in the country, where we actually use heat and smoke in a real live training environment to see if you're ready to make a RIT rescue. So without any messing around, let's get the instructors introduced. Jeff?
Hi everyone, my name is Jeff Wander. Been here with the Institute for 8 years. I'm a lieutenant for the Frankfurt Fire Protection District. It's the south suburb of Chicago. Here at IFSI, I teach with the RIT program. I teach the structural collapse, fire college, and various cornerstone programs up in the Chicagoland area.
Good morning, Brian DiNicola with the Illinois Fire Service Institute. I help teach with the collapse, truck ops, RIT, and fire college. I'm also a member of the Batavia Fire Department.
Kit Miner, Batavia and Sugar Grove. I teach the truck company operations, fire college, and then some cornerstone classes.
Hi, my name is Jeff Johnson. I'm a retired battalion chief with the Lyle Woodridge Fire District. I teach in the structural collapse program, RIT Under Fire, as well as the officer program.
All right, Jeff here again. We're going to start the day off with talking about RIT packs. We're going to go over these two RIT packs that are in front of me right now, and we're going to talk about everything that's inside of them and just get really familiar with them. First thing, we have to make sure that this is a piece of equipment that we constantly train on. There's lots of equipment on our trucks and our engines, and our squads, ambulances, everything that we have. But the RIT pack is truly the only piece of equipment that's for just us. We have to make sure that this equipment is in the ready position, and we have to make sure that all members of our department are constantly trained on this, because it really does come down to life or death situation. I don't want anybody ever to go to a Mayday while they're on the job. I don't ever want that to happen. But if it does, we have to be ready. Time is of the essence, and we have to make sure that we're ready to go. So, some things I'd like to go over first. Make sure you know what kind of RIT pack you have on your department. Make sure that you learn about what the surrounding departments and what kind of RIT packs they have, or what kind of air packs that those departments use. Coming from the south suburbs, we run mutual aid with a lot of different departments. And I do feel it's my responsibility as a fireman to know what the outside agencies are using for SCBA. So that will, in turn, then we'll know what methods we can do to get that down fireman air when or if that situation does arise. Also, too, how many RIT packs are on your departments? If you have multiple RIT packs on your vehicles, get them out on the front lawn during a working fire. Don't have those things stashed away in your cabinets. Have them ready to go. Have that equipment there so if multiple RIT teams need to be deployed to make a rescue, we have the equipment that's there. We always say that we want all the ladders off our vehicles and we want them up on the building. Let's have those RIT packs available too. Do show and tells with your departments, your surrounding departments. Show them what kind of RIT pack you have. Show them how they work. Be proficient in them. Even though maybe your department only uses one brand, I still feel that you should know how to use all brands of RIT packs. Department I work for in Frankfurt, we have MSA, but we have a lot of surrounding departments that have Scots. So I'm proficient in both of those pieces of equipment. Because also too, those departments are going to have whatever manufacturer they're wearing as their harnesses is the same probably as their RIT pack. Another thing that we can maybe do is we can have our RIT compartments labeled on our vehicles. It could say on the side of it, RIT. Now I know when I go to a working fire in those towns and I am assigned as a RIT company, I know where their equipment is. It's all about pre-planning, right? It's all about knowing all this before it happens. So it's the same thing with the equipment. Every morning, people are assigned a piece of equipment, correct? We might have an outside vent guy, we might have a roof team, we might have a search team, who's on the pipe, right? I question you guys, and I'm not calling anybody out, but do you guys assign RIT packs to everybody in the morning? Is one person designated on your company to operate that RIT pack? Is that the person that's always ready to go with that? And then that person passes down that information to somebody else. I can't stress how important it is to be good at knowledge and at the skills that I'm going to show you today. All right? So with further ado, we're going to talk mostly about the MSA air pack, MSA RIT pack, but I will go over parts of the Scots that is different. One more thing for you before I dive in. If you don't have a RIT pack on your department, that's okay. It's acceptable. I understand they're expensive. So what you can do is you can just have a designated harness on your vehicle and you can turn that into a RIT pack in seconds. You can go to a local hardware store, grab a couple carabiners, tighten down the straps, and you can still use that as a RIT pack. So everybody has one. It just doesn't look like this, or does it look like a normal harness? So, to dive into this RIT pack here, that's the MSA one. Comes in this nice package here with a strap on here for you to deploy up and over your shoulder. It also comes with carabiners attached to it, like in the front here, for you to attach this to the down fireman if you need to. Real simple and easy to use. Most RIT packs are going to have an hour-long bottle inside them at 4,500 PSI. There's all different pressures out there. But that's what this one is right here. So that's what I'm mostly going to talk about. Super easy to use. We have a latch here in the front, like a seatbelt. It opens up, and inside here you'll find the mask that's attached to about somewhere around a 10-foot cord here. So we have a little bit of play when if we have to attach this to the down fireman, that it's not as short as the ones that we normally wear on our SCBA. Gives us a little bit of wiggle room. The mask is attached to the MMR. The MMR stands for Mask Mounted Regulator. So when I refer to the MMR, this is what I'm talking about right here. So prior in the morning when we're doing our checks, we want to make sure that this equipment is all attached. So if we do get to a down member, we open up the RIT pack, the mask comes out, the bottle is already turned on, and we can get air to the down fireman immediately. I know some of you might have just heard me say that the pack is turned on before we enter the structure. Down here at IFSI, that is what we teach. That is how we teach it. We want our equipment ready to go. We would not want to get to a down fireman and now we're fumbling around trying to get the air turned on when that individual is struggling for air. So I highly recommend to turn it on before you go in. Also too, is that if there's a catastrophic failure to the piece of equipment, I would rather have that happen outside the house or structure than when I'm inside and now trying to help somebody. So we're gonna have this all attached. It's very simple and easy to attach. There's 2 switches on here. We're gonna pull both switches and the MMR comes off the mask. To re-put it back on, all I have to do is have the bypass valve, which is right here, on the right side of the mask, and it easily clicks on. No problems at all. This is the new version of the MSA. There's older ones out there that the bypass valve can really be in any position and it'll click on. Just make sure you know what you have. And again, make sure you know what everybody else has. As this cord comes out, there's a few options that are on here. We have our buddy breathing system for MSA. We can connect on your air packs back at home. You might have the option on there for a buddy breathing system. You could detach that from your air pack and connect it here, and now you're running off my hour-long bottle. It's very simple and easy to disconnect. Oops, sorry. It has just a quick disconnect. Pull back on this here, and that connects back in. Very, very simple. It's the same connection that's on your air pack too to connect to there. So that is one way that we can get a down fireman air, correct? We can take and we can put a mask on them with the MMR on there, and we can attach this whole RIT pack to that down fireman. The other method I just went over was the buddy breathing system. We can use that too. But we have to remember that the down fireman has to be wearing an MSA. The buddy breathing system on different manufacturers is only for those manufacturers. So a Scott's buddy breathing system will not attach to an MSA breathing system. The other method simply to give somebody air would be as long as they're wearing an MSA mask that is exactly like this one, and we know the mask on that down fireman is still working, I can simply just take the MMR out of my bag, I can just click it into that down fireman, and now they're breathing off the hour-long bottle. So that's 3 methods I just gave you on how to give a down fireman air. The last one is going to be the universal connection, or otherwise known as transfilling. This is the cord to use for transfilling. It pulls out of here. It's about 6 feet long. You can get this in different sizes, I know. Some departments have 25-foot lengths, which could be really nice if you had somebody trapped underneath a roof section or something to where the initial RIT team can't get to them. The person is conscious. They need air. You could pass the cord through the debris, and he or she could actually transfill themselves. So it's a nice option to have if you need to do something like that. So to keep it real simple here, basically the way a transfill system works is we're working from pressure to pressure. Remember, pressure is pressure, volume is volume. So if my down fireman has an air pack on and it's completely empty, when I hook this transfill system up to him, what it's going to do is equalize the bottles. So the most you're going to be able to fill that down fireman's pack is to 2250, which is basically half of 4500. So even if you have an hour-long bottle, and that fireman's wearing a 30-minute bottle, you are not, as long as the pressures are the same, you are not going to fill that 40 or that 30-minute bottle all the way up. I hope everybody understands that. And to be honest with you, it's an easy training out on the bay floor. Take the lads out there, show everybody how the trans system or the transfill system really works, right? So there is no confusion out there. So that is the nice, easy fourth way of giving a down firefighter air. The rest of the air pack here, there's a zipper on the side here, which opens up. That will expose the bottle. You can also see on here, there's a gauge on the pack. We'll show you how much air is inside of it. It glows in the dark, which is nice. And then you can actually see on the RIT pack itself, there is a transfill connection. So if our RIT pack, if we had an extended operation inside of a building and we had our down fireman on a RIT pack and this pack started to become low, I could transfill from one RIT pack to another RIT pack to keep air constant going to that down fireman. Because again, this is a universal connection. It doesn't matter if you have a Scott's air pack, another brand, another brand, another brand. It all has to be the same universal connection. So, another thing I recommend too is don't have a lot of equipment inside of a RIT pack. We don't want to have search rope inside there. We can have some simple tools in there, maybe a couple pieces of webbing, some wire cutters, just real simple stuff, maybe some door chocks, but we don't want to overload this bag. We don't want this to be even more heavy than it already is, because the purpose of this is to give the down firefighter air. That is what this is to do. And it's the same with the person that this is assigned to, like I talked earlier in the day. We're on a bona fide mayday, we get inside the building, we found the down, trapped, lost firefighter. The person who has this bag, it is their responsibility to get air on that down fireman. I'll go over the Scots real quick here, just the different parts of it that aren't, just so we can show you both of them. The Scots pack here, on the top here, you can show that it has the gauge up top here, which is a nice option. So now on the outside of it, when I turn the bottle on, I can look right away to make sure that I have air in here. There's two sections to this pack here. There's a T handle right here. This is just my personal thing, T for turning it on. When I pull and I open this up, inside of here is where I have the gauge to be able to turn on the air pack. And also too, that is where I'm gonna find my universal connection. As you can see, if I bring out both of them, not to hammer this any harder than I already have, but you can see that it's a universal connection and they're exactly the same. So I could take this Scott air pack and I could transfill and fill up my MSA air pack if it started running low on air. Then there's another ball right here. When I open that up, that's where I'm gonna have my mask. All right, as you can see, the mask on an MSA is, my bad, on a Scots is different than the MSA. Also too, the MMR is different than the MSA. To connect this one here, on the top here I have a donning switch, and on the side I have a little toggle switch right here. So the first thing I have to do is I have to press my donning switch, which turns off the air, and then I have to twist and I bring my bypass valve up to 90 degrees here, or the person would be staring at it in the face, whatever makes it easy for you, all right? And then it comes off the mask. To put it back on, same thing, I want my bypass valve up in the air, attach it to here, twist it, and it pops on. The old the old Scott packs used to have a donning switch in the front here. So if you had a down fireman that was breathing extremely shallow, wasn't able to actually activate their own mask, I was able to press this and that would actually start flow, would be like the first breath of a pack when you put it on. The Scots no longer has that. but the MSA does now. So you're able to do that with that. The old generation Scots does have that dying switch in the front. The old generation of MSA does not have that dying switch in the front. So again, it's important for you to go back to your equipment and look at it and see which one does what. All right, so you're ready to go with that when something like that happens.
So hey Jeff, we had a couple questions that I want you to cover before we move into the other room and we talk about actually moving it down Firefighter, the lip, and all the other stuff that we're going to get into. Let's talk about how the transfill could be in different positions based on the year that the harness was made and based on the manufacturer, and then I'll follow up with you on a second question after that.
Excellent. Yes, that's a very, very good question. It is by law that they have to have that universal connection by the high pressure coupling on the back of the air pack. That's where it has to be. Some departments will pay extra money and they'll have them in both places. I mean both places, they'll have it up by the pass device. So you could have it in both locations, but it has to be on their back by that high pressure coupling. So we'll go over it in the other room, but if we are going to do a transfill, knowing that it's always going to be back by the high pressure coupling, the best move is to roll that down fireman onto their belly, which will now expose that universal connection, which will make it easier for you guys to do a transfill.
And then the last thing I want you to cover, which you already did, but somebody came in late and they didn't hear it, is talk about how we advocate assigning that RIT pack to a member as a RIT team, and that's the only tool they carry, and why we do that.
Yes. Like I said earlier, but for the individual that didn't hear that, is every morning we assign people different tools, different assignments, but the RIT pack doesn't, that all the time is not an assigned piece of equipment. And it's extremely important because when we get inside the building on a bona fide Mayday, that is their sole job, is to get that down fireman air. It's not their responsibility to tighten the straps at that moment. It's not the responsibility of that person to start moving that down fireman. It's to get air to them, because that's only going to set us up for success. That is only going to be, like I said in the beginning, the time is of the essence, and making sure that we are giving the best chance to that person that has gone down. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head over to my other room here, and we're going to show you guys the approach of a down firefighter and some drags and carries on how to move that down fireman. All right? So one of the first things that we're going to show you is a single person. So we have a call out of a down firefighter inside of a building. A RIT team is deployed inside the building. We're starting to do a search. Team breaks off a little bit, starts working in different rooms and areas, and we're going to show this down fireman is now found by one of the rescuers and what he or she can start doing before the rest of the team shows up. So as Firefighter Dino here approaches the down fireman, we're going to show you some of the checks and some of the things that we can do right away to start getting this person packaged and ready to go. As you can see, Dino comes up on one of the sides of the down fireman. The first thing he's going to do is he's going to look and see the name on the back of the coat, if you guys have that. Making sure that it's the down fireman that we're looking for and there's not multiple people down inside the building. So he's going to look at that. He's then going to look at the gauge on the bottle, see if there's any air inside that bottle, and then he's going to make sure both arms are up and above the head of the down fireman, and he's going to roll him towards him to that high pressure coupling. Two reasons on why we roll him to that high pressure coupling. The first one is we want to roll that person to you because you know that area is safe. I don't want to roll them away from me because I don't really know maybe what's going on the floor over there, and I wouldn't want to make the situation worse. So once we roll them over, the second reason why we do it towards us is now that's going to expose the pass device, because it's probably going to be sounding. One thing to remember, that if there's a lot of water inside the building and the pass device is underwater, you might not hear that device going off. So once we roll them over, we can now shut the pass device off, and at this point here, we can do a lip. So let me explain to you what the lip is. The lip stands for location, identification, and problem. There's a lot of different acronyms out there. Down here at IFSI, we use LIT. Here's the reason why. It's 3 letters. It's nice and simple. I like simplicity, all right? So, location, identification, and problem. So, Dino now will do he'll call a LIT to command.
Command from row 1.
Go ahead, everyone.
Located in the AB corner, we've identified firefighter Whitten, low on air. We're going to be working our way out the same way we came in.
As you can see, he gave all the information. At that point, if he needed another RIT team, if he needed some sort of specialty equipment, a hearse tool, airbags, cribbing, whatever else, that's when he could call for it.
Okay, so while we're transitioning to the next move, I had a couple questions come in that I'm going to answer. So the first one was, why do we put the downed firefighter's arms over his head? That's to avoid a shoulder injury. Firefighters all across the country are going off on shoulder injuries, and we want to protect this brother or sister before we move them out of the building. So that's why we put the arms over the head before we roll them. And then the other question was that the bypass switch wasn't on the G1 masks. That's an issue that you're going to have to address with MSA. The newer harnesses from MSA have it, but some of the G1s do not. It's a feature that you can add on. It's also a feature that you can purchase at time of purchase. So sorry to interrupt, Jeff. Please continue.
From this point forward now, we have to make sure that air is going, that the downed firefighter is getting air, right? So this fireman being by himself, and he does not have a RIT pack with him, he now is going to check and see if the downed fireman has air. The way he can do that is very, very simple. All he has to do is turn the bypass valve on. If the bypass valve starts to flow air, then we know that air is going to the downed member. If he turns that bypass valve on and no air, it's either the bottle is shut off or the bottle is completely out of air. And you would know that because when the downed fireman was on his stomach, you looked at that bottle. And you would also, too, check to make sure that that bottle is turned on. So if there is no more air, if the pack is completely out of air, and no air is coming out, we want to take the MMR off the downed fireman's face. I understand that it's a smoky, bad environment, but suffocation is worse than the smoky environment. Plus, they're low to the ground. You could take the hood, pull the hood up over the hole in the mask. You do whatever you feel like you need to do to be able to try to protect the downed fireman. This is also now a large decision-making time here. What is my environment like? Is it hot? Is it smoky? Is the alligator coming down on top of us? I mean the alligator like we're in a room that's on fire. This is not a room that we should be operating in. We have to find a room of refuge now. Might have came down a hallway, you knew there were some bedrooms off to your right and left. This is a quick time to be able to now get this fireman into a room of safety, shut the door, call for extra help, and that's when you can start doing more things to be able to get the downed fireman out. Maybe you're calling for a ladder, things like that. So, Dino's going to do a quick drag. He does a quick tightening up the straps on the arms and on the waist. As you can see, when he tightens down the straps, you always want to pull the strap down back towards the bottle so it gets it real tight. You can also see, if you really pay attention here, you'll see on the shoulder straps, when he gets to those, he's going to take that strap that he tightens down and he's going to pass it back up to himself with a little half hitch on that quick release strap. So now he's holding the strap and the shoulder strap, which will help not the strap starting to loosen up on you and you lose the real estate you have. Now Dino's going to be able to sound the floor in front of him. He's going to, like he told the lip, he's going to be coming the same way that he came in, and he's going to start moving the down fireman. Great. Now we're going to reset here. And we're now going to go over 2 firefighters making that rescue. Okay? So, when the second firefighter comes in the room, as he comes inside here, Dino already has the downed fireman in the sitting position. He's going to lift up his arms for him, and Kit here in the front is going to tighten those straps down there. As you can see, he pulls them down back towards the bottle. Once he's got them nice and tight, he's going to hand those straps back up, and Dino is going to get one strap in his hand, and he's going to lower the fireman back down on the deck. As you can see, Dino is now working off the high side of the down fireman. The high side is the highest shoulder. Because he has a harness, he has an air pack on, there's going to be a lean to that down fireman. So Dino gets his hands in there, Kit gets his hands in there. We have an environment right now where we have a very wide open area. We're maybe in a warehouse, we're in a garage, we're in somewhere where there's a lot of room for both firemen to work in this fashion. So they'll mirror each other, their legs are both in the same positions, and now Dino being on the high side, he's in command of this situation. So when we're going to get ready and move this guy, we're going to use ready, ready, go. Don't say, if you're not ready, don't say no, because no sounds like go. So Dino will start, Kit will answer, and then they'll make the move.
Ready.
Ready.
Go.
Very good. And as we're resetting, we're now going to show you the third way of moving a down fireman with two rescuers. So now we're in an environment in a very closed space, and we're going to use more of a push-pull method. Normal hallways in a residential home are somewhere around 36 inches wide, so there's no way we could have two firemen just like the way that we showed you. So now we have to do more of a push-pull. Dino, again, is going to be working on the high side, just like he was. Kit now is going to be working down in the lower area, down by the down fireman's legs. First thing he's going to do is get one leg in between. That controls the legs so they don't hit doorways, get hung up on things, all that. The next thing Kit's going to do is he's going to get that high side leg up and over his shoulder. As you can see, Kit is really going to get his shoulder as far down on the patient's buttocks as possible as he can get. Because the higher he's on that leg, the more he's going to drive that fireman down into the ground. As you can see, if Kit started to drive and move the down firefighter, you can see all he's doing is making it harder. The lower that shoulder gets, the more push he's going to get. If he's got to get up on the balls of his feet, he can do that. He can also take his hands and hold the down fireman's wrists so he can control all limbs so we don't get hung up on anything. Again, Dino is in charge. He's the one who's going to make the call. Same call that we made before. Is it ready? Ready, go. Go on, guys.
Ready.
Ready.
Go.
Very good.
So hey Jeff, before we move to the next scenario, let's talk about the obvious elephant in the room that just came up. Why don't we convert the waist strap underneath the leg? We're going to tell you why. You know what? That waist strap is already on, and taking it off and reconnecting it, you're taking the risk of taking that carrying device that's already on that firefighter off of him. And if that waist strap isn't connected, or you can't get it reconnected because the fire's licking on your behind, you're going to pull that SCBA off the fireman. So we've tested it both ways. We're not just talking out our keisters here. We have instructors from New York, Milwaukee, the suburbs of Chicago, and all across the country that have tested it both ways, and we've tested it with students in real RIT under fire classes where we disorient them with noise, with smoke, with heavy fire conditions, and 8 times out of 10, you're not getting it done. So if the waist strap is already connected, make the connection. Use the carrying pack. Is it a tool that you could use? Yes, but it's not always going to work for you, as demonstrated by the classes that we've taught down here. That?
One more thing just to piggyback onto that right there is, in teaching this class, I've heard a lot of people say, let's remove the harness off the down fireman. Let's take that off and let's put some webbing on them. I'm going to tell you right now, that harness is the best dragging strap that we possibly have out there. And there might be a situation where you do have to remove that. But remember, once it's taken off, like Tim just said, it's not coming back on. So let's make sure that we learn how to do these steps here and use that harness that's on there. Okay, now we're going to go over what I talked about in the other room about the 3 ways of giving a down fireman air. So as we come up here, the first method we're going to do is that transfer that we talked about here. As you can see, we put the down fireman on his stomach because now it's going to expose that connection. If you come over here and you look, you can see where that high pressure or that RIT connection is. It's on the side of this air pack, and there's a little covering that goes on there. So all you have to do is remove the cover, which exposes it. Kit here pulls out the transfill hose, and we're going to connect them. Once he connects it, you'll hear a rush of air, and most of the time, if that bell is going off, eventually you'll hear the bell shut off on there, and that means that you're moving past the numbers that have usually around the 1300 mark, and you're now starting to fill that pack up. That's the first method, was doing the transfill, universal connection. Second method we're going to go over here is just swapping out MMR. Remember, math, mask mounted regulators. So first thing we'll do is they'll have a connection on there. He's on bells. He's running really low on air. We realize that it's the same air pack. All we're going to do is disconnect the mask from the RIT pack, and we're going to connect it onto the downfire. So you can see he hands it over to Dino. Kit removes that one. They lift up his head, and they connect it. The third method we're going to do here is we have a down fireman with a cracked mask, a broken mask, a non-functioning mask, and we need to actually switch out the mask and the regulators. So first step what we're going to do here is we're going to remove the down fireman's helmet. Trim straps can be tricky, so again, it shows that we have to make sure that we're practicing this. We're going to now remove the fireman's hood, and we're now going to start to loosen up the straps. As you can see, Kit is taking the mask and the regulator outside of the RIT pack right now. He's getting it ready to go as Dino keeps loosening up the straps, and we're going to make a quick transition here. So all he has to do is take the netting off first, keep the mask holding on there for thermal protection, and also too, if there was air in there, we're going to give him his last breath here when we tell him, take a deep breath. He's going to pull the head back so the chin is exposed.
Ready?
The chin cup comes up underneath, and we attach it onto the down fireman's face. Holding it on there, they're now going to, you can hear the breathing, they're now going to move the netting back down over the fireman. They're going to start tightening up the straps. The down fireman is conscious. We're going to be talking to him or her, explaining to him what we're doing. Now, very important, we're going to put the hood back up on for thermal protection. We would not want to remove someone from a building and now they have burns because we did not move that back up there on them. We're going to put the helmet back on. We're going to attach the RIT pack to the down firefighter. On MSAs, the chest strap works really, really good for that. Or we can attach it to the waist strap. And we're now going to move the down fireman outside. So, hopefully you saw all three of those. I hope that helps you. And we are now transferring to Tim.
Okay, so hey, welcome back. So what we're going to do now, while our crew goes out and gets ready to do a live demonstration of a real rescue for you, is I want to go over some points that we talked about. If you haven't heard of Don Abbott's Project Mayday study out of Indiana, Don's a retired fire chief. We use a lot of the stuff that he does, and he posts for every fire department to share and all our RIT programs. We've had bona fide rescues from our RIT programs in Milwaukee, in Chicago, and across the country. We've had firefighters call us up and say, hey, what we learned in that class allowed us to make a rescue. And the reason we do that is because we use fire as a key element here. There's no other program in the country where you're going to get to remove a down fireman, a real instructor, and you're going to get feedback as to how you were able to work that. So let's talk about what Don found out in the last 13 weeks since COVID hit. Maydays are up. They're up a lot, and they're up because guys are fatigued. They're working extra shifts. They're doing standbys for crowd control, things of that nature. Guys are working 48-hour shifts, 72-hour shifts. 81% of the Maydays occur at nighttime. from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., all right? And 77% of those May Days involved a firefighter working an additional shift. This is just in the last 13 weeks. Don put these numbers together and posted them on July 4th, and we've posted them on our website so that you can print them off and take a look at them, post them in the bathroom. It's some pretty sobering statistics. 43% of the firefighters who called the May Day don't remember anything about the May Day event because they were fatigued and they were working extra hours. So if you think COVID isn't having an effect on your fireground operations, you're sadly mistaken. So fire chiefs all across the country watching this, village managers, village clerks, mayors, you need to take care of the fire department. They need rest, they need some time off, and for them to be at their peak performance, they need to have that rest time. So Jeff, are we close to ready to go?
It looks like it.
Okay, if not, we can talk about some other stuff here. So Don Abbott's Project Mayday, which we use in our teachings, addresses how people get jammed up in a Mayday. Where, and it's usually in a residential building, right? We're not doing that at commercial structures. It's usually the time of day that we talked about. We got a couple more minutes here. Guys are gearing up and we're gonna come in. Let's talk about, we have a RIT class coming up, fully paid for here at the Illinois Fire Service Institute. Grant funded, zero cost. $1,600 in your pocket to come down here and take a RIT class. The end of August, you can go to our website right now at www.fsi.illinois.edu and you can sign up for that RIT class. We have some students in there already and we would like to have you come down. Excuse me. Our classes for November and December are almost filled. So if you're looking to get into RIT this fall, before Christmas time, the August class is your best bet. Jefferson, we good to go? We're good to go. Jeff, you want to take back over?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so now we got a really good opportunity for you guys to watch in real time what making a rescue. There's some things I want you guys to make sure that you're paying attention to when you see this. All the things that we just talked about. Watch the approach. Watch them checking for air. Watch them working together. Watch them calling that lip. And without further ado, we'll have a team come in and we'll make a rescue. Go ahead and turn on your pass device.
I got Abby on 3,005.
Red Command, Red Watch. We're on the first floor, Charlie's side. Is located Firefighter Abby. There's a cracked mask, and we're going up to see where we came in.
Ready?
Ready, go.
Abby, how's your air?
He's breathing.
Can you grab that? Right. Got it. Strap.
There's one. There's two.
Yeah. I got a spare.
Okay.
Okay, so let's walk here for a minute with my camera person. We're gonna let these guys get out of their gear and we're gonna transfer over to our next scenario. But what you just saw is bare minimum of what we teach here. This is one teaching station on Monday morning where we show you how to do these steps. And while everybody's moving to the next prop, where we're gonna go over removing a down firefighter on a ladder and removing a down firefighter up and down stairs, I want you to remember that the addition of smoke and heat in the training environment is key to making this rescue. If you train on your apparatus floor with your extrication gloves on, you can see that Dino and Kit were both wearing structural firefighter gloves to make those moves, and they had good visibility. Now you add in smoke, heat, and the inability to think, and the heat's licking down on you, and you may have to isolate yourself behind an additional door, or you may have to hide in a room behind a door and call for a hose team to bail you out, or you may have to bring that firefighter down a ladder, which is a last-ditch effort, but we're going to show you how to do it. You have to have options. If your training doesn't reflect real-world rescues based on firefighter deaths and NIOSH studies, you're going to fail. And if your training isn't tough and real and raw, like we deliver down here at the Illinois Fire Service Institute, where we take you to the next level, so that when you're in that environment at home, you're accustomed to it, you'll fail as well. So sign up for that August class, and let's take a walk. We'll get over to the other prop, and we'll get going again for you. So all these things that we've talked about and we're working with are provided to us by our sponsors. So we want to make sure that we thank MSA, Scott, and Globe Fire Equipment. And the reason we do that is because they allow us to go all across the country and every state, and sometimes even internationally. We have this RIT program has gone internationally to Belgium before and many other locales. So we're willing to go on the road. We have a trailer. We'll bring the equipment and the instructors, and we'll put you through your paces. We taught at Firehouse a couple of years. We'll be teaching at FDIC under their HOT program again next year, working for Bobby Halton and the guys at FDIC in fire engineering. So we want to share this information. And for students in Illinois, firefighters in Illinois, this is a free class. You don't even have to pay to come here to take this. Talk to some guy that works in Wisconsin, or talk to the Milwaukee firefighters that have paid out of their own pocket to take this class. And those Milwaukee firefighters that paid out of their own pocket to take this class, they'll tell you it was worth every penny because they made 2 bona fide rescues of their brothers in a fire building where they had a mayday. So let's get up the stairs here. I'm going to turn you over to Dino, and he's going to cover up and down the ladder for you. Like I said before, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments section, and we'll try to answer them for you right away. Hey Dino, you ready to go? All right, brother, they're all yours.
All right, everybody, now we're going to be talking about going down a ladder with and without an air pack. We'll demonstrate both ways for you. The first one we're going to show you is we're going to talk about with the air pack. If you take a look inside here, we have our down member who we've simulated, we've drugged to this point. At this point in time, we need to get our down member oriented to that window. And how we're going to do that, we need to spin her, similar to what we did in the last demonstration. We're going to grab it up top, and then we're going to grab down by the ankles, grab the cuffs, and it's going to be head to you, head to me.
Head to me.
Ready?
Ready. Go.
And now we're going to spin, and here's where the orientation is really critical. As you can see down low, we want to make sure that her toes are going to be below the windowsill, directly at the floorboard. Okay, almost as if she's in a seated position with her knees bent up, so that they're up against the floorboard. Now we're going to want to reposition ourselves. We're going to want to grab low, and then we're going to want to also grab high, so that when we pick her up, we can get her up towards the window, and we're going to be bringing her face first out that window. At that point in time, we want to make sure that we capture that progress so that we don't lose our down member or drop them. We want to stick our inside leg underneath the bottom to capture that progress. At this point in time, these fellows are going to show you how we do that, and they're going to communicate with the ready, ready, go.
To the windowsill. Ready.
Ready.
Go.
Head to the right. Head to the right.
I head right. Ready.
Ready.
Go.
As you can see, they both have spun and have now captured the progress of where they're at.
Okay.
First thing coming up.
Let's take a step outside real quick, and we'll show you the wrist out here off of the veranda. You guys can see the ladder portion of this on what needs to be done in hand placement and how critical that really is. As you can see, we have our two rescuers out here. We have made sure that we've got the arms that are on the opposite side. They're passed. Jeff has got his arm supporting the head, and he's also got his his right arm wrapped around the beam on the other side, and he is in total control of our down member coming down right now. The second individual on the ladder to the right is acting as a safety should he need any assistance bringing her down. Okay, at this point in time, I'd like to talk about a couple things in regards to dragging our down member to where we need to get them out to where our ladder is located. One thing that we did talk about briefly was isolating ourselves. If I have drugged my down member to this point in time and we have untenable conditions, I don't have a hose line, I don't have a hand can, I need something that's going to protect me. And how is that going to do? I can isolate myself, I can close a door. So what I would want to do, I would get my member into that area of refuge, that safe area, and what I can do at that point in time is close my door, and I have just now bought us some time until other help arrives. We get that hose line, we get a RIT pack. We can get that all situated. Now the team is reset, and here we're going to talk about getting the down member out without an air pack. Orientation is similar, so we're going to need to spin. We'll grab high, we'll grab the ankles, bring the legs up, reduce that friction. Head to you, head to me. Go ahead, call it, kid.
Head to me. Ready. Good.
Okay, at this point in time, we've got our orientation. She's ready to come out the window. Previously, it was the toes down in the bottom, directly below the windowsill. At this point in time, we want the feet to be up on the windowsill and her bottom directly below. It'll be in an L-shaped form. So,
Butt to the wall. Ready. Ready. Go.
okay, as you can see, our down member is in that position. Her toes or her ankles are at the windowsill. And at this point in time,
you ready?
Our hand position is crucial. We want to make sure that our inside hand or our low hand, left hand is down here, and we're going to be want to grab the coattails as deep as we possibly can. And then our other hand up here, top by the collar, we want to grab as deep as we possibly can into that collar so that when we lift, we start lifting right away. We're not just lifting coat and then the rest of our down member. When you guys are ready, go, okay?
Ready. Ready. Go.
Okay, right there, perfect. We'll take a step outside here. We can see that transition from the windowsill now onto that ladder. We have our rescuer in position. You can see they've aided and assisted bringing her out the rest of that way. Jeff on the ladder wants to make sure that the legs are on the shoulders as he has there, and then his contact points are the same. He's grabbing the back side of those beams. And now the two rescuers in the window are going to still hang on until they're out of reach, and then they will let go.
Good, guys.
Remember, this is without an air pack. And as you can see, if something gets hung up, all Jeff is having to do is really lift straight up, and it'll help release that from whatever's being caught become loose. So now we've talked about removing the victim, and we've done drags, we've done approaches, and now we just did down the ladder with and without an air pack. We're going to transition now into up and down the stairs. Tim, you ready?
Ready to go, Dino. Hey guys, welcome back. So this is going to be our last demonstration for the day, and this is how to move a downed firefighter up and down the stairs. This is very key. We have companies all over the United States going to basement fires. There's lots of different bells and whistles that you've seen out there. Different carriers, Halligan bars, pike poles. What we're showing you is rapid. That's what RIT stands for. Rapid intervention. No fancy devices, just bulwark. Getting in there, tightening that strap and going to work, and that's what we're going to show you now. So I'm going to turn it over to Kit. Kit's going to handle the stair instruction for us, and then we'll get you done for today. Kit?
All right, so what we're going to do in this evolution is taking a down member up and down the stairs. So what we're going to have here first is our down member. He's going to come, he's already been packaged. We already dragged him through the basement. Now we're at the stairs going up. What we want to end up happening is, as soon as we get him here, we want to check the straps on the air pack. Just like Jeff talked about, we want to make sure that we're going to use this as our handles to go up. They're already pre-packaged. This is the best way to do it. We don't want to throw a Halligan in there or anything like that. As we would go up, it would loosen the air pack and we might go right into the wall. So we want to make sure we use what's already here. So once the straps are done and tight to go, what we're going to do is we want to get this guy underneath him. And so what we're going to do is move him up to the second step. Okay? And once we get to there, the top firefighter is going to be holding on to the shoulder straps right here, and they're going to squat up. They're going to use the ready, go. The guy at the front, he's going to lead it.
Ready.
Right, go. All right, now we get to the second step. If we have to adjust the straps, we'll adjust the straps.
Strap's good.
The guy down here, he's going to get the legs up and over, similar to when we're going down the hallway with the two-man. We want to make sure that these legs are parallel with his back, making sure that they're nice and even. He's got to get really deep-seated. And what he's doing down here, he's grabbing the coattail to have a good grip. The guy up here, he's grabbing the same thing with the shoulder straps. This is the guy that's going to control the pace. So we need to make sure as he goes, we just follow him as the guy on the bottom. Also, a little quick tip. We're going up the steps. If we turn our feet to the side as we go up, we won't step on the down member or trip over. All right, on you.
JJ, ready?
Ready?
Go.
And we want to go up first before we start going. Very important. We go up and then start climbing. As you can see, his feet are turned as he goes. We want to get to the top so we can clear the entire bottle from those steps. Very important when we first go, we want to make sure we go up and then ascend up the stairs. Good communication between you and your partner. The next thing we're going to end up doing is we're going to bring a down member down the stairs. So as you see, they're already upstairs. They drag them to the top of the steps. So their butts down, heads up, back to the stairs. They're going to adjust all the air pack the way they need to. They're going to grab the shoulder straps. What they're going to do here is they're going to lift up. So that way the bottle valve is not hitting the steps on the way down. On you.
Ready.
Right.
Go.
Now as they come down, they're going to come down controlled. If they're grabbing the side, because this is our down member, this is a family member to us. We treat them very, very good. We don't want to hurt them. We want to take care of them. They're one of our brothers or sisters. And then we continue on.
Jake, is all good?
All good.
All right, buddy. Hey, everybody. That's kind of going to be it for today, but I want to have the instructors kind of hit the high points of the stuff that we talked about. So today, when the bell rings, you can make a rescue. But like I've told you before, if you're not training with smoke and fire on your behind, doing these tasks, and you're just doing it on the apparatus floor with your extrication gloves, thinking that you're going to be able to rescue a down brother or a down sister, you're sadly mistaken. Call Milwaukee. Call Orange County, California. Call Chicago. Talk to the people that have been through this course. It's humbling. I went through this course at 45. I'm 56 now. It was the toughest class I ever participated in, and it humbles you and it makes you a better firefighter. So Jeff, let's talk about the stuff we covered today.
All right, remember, just first thing, know your equipment, train with your equipment, and time is of the essence.
Remember, when we're bringing firefighters down a ladder with or without a pack, key placement of the feet is huge. Feet with the pack are down at the bottom. Feet without a pack are at the windowsill. Practice and train.
Remember a couple tips as we're bringing firefighters up. Our feet should be off to the left, so that way, or to the right, so we don't trip over our guys, and make sure when we go up for the first time, we go up first, then we ascend up the ladder.
So hey, a couple housekeeping items before we let you go for the day, because I know it's time for lunch in every firehouse across America. We've changed where our Facebook forum videos are. It's on our own page now, so if you go to our website and just click on Facebook forum, you can pick from any one of the 20 deliveries we've done since COVID hit. Also, we have fall courses that were canceled in the springtime that we've added into our roster. Go to our website at fsi.illinois.edu and sign up for those free courses if you're from Illinois. If you're from out of state, get a hold of us on the phone so we can work with you on lodging. Make sure someone picks you up at the airport. We can work all that for you. And then finally, we'll be back here on August 20th with Toby Jackson and the Smoke Divers crew so we can show you how to operate in that pack so you don't get jammed up and necessarily have a mayday. So we appreciate you joining us here at the Illinois Fire Service Institute. Thanks for putting us on the schedule for today. Please use this in your trainings, share the information, take care of each other out there, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.